Hey guys, Spoon Guardian here from the MantonProject, bringing you what is hopefully the first of many ShellShockLive2 weapon reviews, and this is how it's going to work. At the top, it's going to say the weapon name, and then it's going to be the damage average, which is like how much you're going to expect from the weapon, then the damage potential, which is the absolute maximum you're going to get. First up, we have Airstrike, which is a beacon, and how beacons work is once they hit, they'll bounce around a little bit, subjecting them to gravity and the slope of the terrain, and then they'll begin. And this rains down 3, what is basically heavy shots, except they have a larger radius, dealing about 20 damage apiece, so you can expect about 40 damage because of the way that it affects terrain and stuff like that. So if you're at the very bottom of the map, you can expect to get 60 damage, which is the maximum for this weapon because it cannot affect terrain. Next up, we have Digger, which is one of the most annoying moves in the game, yet one of my favorites. How it works is once it hits, it'll bounce up in the air and then just come back down 5 times, dealing 15 damage per hit, with a pretty small radius, so you have to be pretty precise. But when you hit, it just pounds them deep down into the ground and makes it hard for them to shoot back, which is really nice, and you can just lob grenades in there all you want. Till the earthquake comes, of course. Here we have Rain, which is a beacon just like Airstrike, and once it activates, it'll rain down a bunch of little tiny shots for 2 damage apiece, and though it has a pretty large radius, it does like no damage since really none of them hit. Next up is One Bounce, which obviously bounces once, and as you can see, it's pretty hard to hit with. But if you do hit with it, it's good for about 40 damage, which is pretty good. It has kind of medium radius. And you can do some really pro shots with it, so it's nice. Here we have Horizon, which once it hits explodes both left and right simultaneously about 4 times, dealing about 10 damage per hit. So you can expect about 30 to 40 damage per tank if you catch them within its radius. Now for Sniper, which has extremely high damage potential, but it also has an extremely small radius, so you have to be really precise. Sniper is a range-based weapon, which means the farther away you are, the more damage it'll do. But don't worry too much about that right now. I'll spend an entire episode on the MantonProject covering what range-based means and what it does. And here is Fountain, which upon impact explodes into 10 shots that fall down upon the enemy. And since it explodes randomly, it's best used against a wall so that they can't quite fly to the right side or the left side, which means that they'll kind of channel down right onto the enemy tank, dealing quite a bit of damage. So keep that in mind and use that to the best of its ability. And this is Area Strike, which upon impact spawns a random pattern of very large explosions, dealing about 12 damage per shot. So you can expect about 40 to 60 damage with it, though if you're on the bottom of the map, the shots cluster a lot more, raising the average damage for this weapon by a pretty large amount, like 20 points or so. And here is Breaker, which upon impact explodes outward with about 2 heavy shots dealing 20 damage per hit, so it's best used on a wall so that they can both go the same way. And here is OP Flower, which spawns 8 petals that deal 20 damage per shot and has a huge area of effect, and you can expect about 100 damage with this weapon. Next is Blaze, which is a pretty interesting weapon. It's best used at 45 degrees, so that all of them can line up. And it shoots out 15 little flames that deal 2 damage apiece and tick twice. And this is Tunneler, which is basically just a heavy shot that has the ability to travel through the ground. And on a quick note, if it's traveling through the ground, it is not affected by wind. This is Jumper, which before it hits the ground splits into 2 shots, dealing 20 damage per shot, and it has a pretty good radius. A quick note, it's best used at short range so that the things can't jump as far away from each other, so you can hit with both. It's nice. Here we have Roller, which when it hits the ground just continues going until it hits an enemy. This is not unlimited though, so watch out. Anyways guys, this is the end of the video, so if you made it this far, you might as well just go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. You did good. Anyways, feel free to provide some feedback. It's my goal to provide you with the most helpful, useful information that you can find on the YouTubes. So, any feedback is good, or any good feedback is welcome, however you want to look at it. This was a Spoon Guardian video, and I'm out. Have a nice day, everyone.